Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's your boys, Mike and Mish, with the Mike and Mish Show. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Kyle? How is it going? Had a long damn weekend, and finally we're back here where we are supposed to be.
Where we're supposed to be, right at home on our live stream, the funnest goddamn hour of your Wednesday, guaranteed. We got a couple guests lined up, and I'm pretty excited about all three of these guys, man. We got we got tree guys coming on. We got the number one ranked featherweight in the whole world, Kai Stewart, who's going to be taking on Louie Lopez at BKFC 44 in the main event for the title. I love that. I can't wait to talk to the Outcast himself, or Hefty Bag, depending on what you want to call him today. And then after that, we're going to talk to a guy.
Yeah. What's up with that? I thought he was the Outcast. Last time we said Hefty Bag, and I thought it switched to the Outcast, and now he's back to Hefty Bag.
I don't even know if he's back to Hefty Bag because he's selling Outcast t-shirts on his friggin' social medias, dude. So I think what I think it is that Sosha will not give up the Hefty Bag. He loves the Hefty Bag, and he continues to call him.
Well, his mom is calling him Hefty Bag too. I think that's his mom in the comments, right?
So maybe he is the Outcast, Kai Hefty Bag Stewart.
However he feels.
Yeah. Like the King of Kenosha, Big Ben Rothwell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They got many names, lots of names.
Many names, man of many names.
Yeah. His shirts are Outcast, see? According to his mom. And mama knows. After him, we're going to have the undefeated, now 4-0 winner of a unanimous decision win over the former welterweight champion Elvin Brito this past weekend. Carlos Trinidad-Snake is going to come on. And he's going to have his coach, Danny Molina, owner of Skywalker 101 Boxing, and one hell of a fucking coach, dude. If you watched that fight the other night, they had him mic'd up. And you want a clinic on how to actually corner somebody and coach, man. Pay attention to that. Go watch that one over again. Pay attention to the in-between rounds because it was fantastic. But before we do any of this stuff, before we bring on Kai and talk some shit, let's pay some bills.
Norcom Mortgage and Michael Mish are delivering the American dream to those who serve America, helping veterans obtain the dream of home ownership. They offer programs that include no money down, no first-time homebuyer requirement, 100% cash-out refinances, rehab loans. They can help you purchase a home, purchase a condo, refinance an existing mortgage, create a dream home with rehab loan. To learn more, visit www.michaelmish.norcommortgage.com or call 860-884-2103.
(0884210.3). Call up Michael Mish for to learn more. I love that guy.
Michael Mish, not Mike and Mish.
Yeah, Michael Mish, your guy for all mortgage needs, loan broker extraordinaire. The guy's a wealth of knowledge, and he can help you all. He's also licensed in 18 states or something like that, including all the big ones, man. All the importante ones. What are you drinking tonight, Mike?
Me?
Yeah, what you got?
Oh, do you see this? This is that awesome.
Yeah, I got one of those right over here.
Yeah, look at this. It's an American flag. I'm not sure. That fire is in the front. The flag is way behind it. It's not a fire. It's not a flag on fire, if that's what you're thinking. It's not. Because I looked at that one time. I said, maybe people are thinking when I drink this, it means death to the infidels. But that's not what I'm doing. This is way behind the fire. You know what I'm saying?
You are an infidel.
Yeah. Was it Gary Lang that gave us
Gary
this?
Lang.
Gary Lang.
Little Catherine.
And Catherine, yes.
Yeah, little Catherine.
Thank you for this. I got some coffee. I've got some coffee in here and possibly some Jameson cold brew. But
I wanted to tell you, in my coffee mug tonight, I also have a little bit of Jameson because I'm having a little tea. Because recently, recently would have been my grandfather's 99th birthday. If he would have still been around, he passed away. I want to say 2 years ago now. Man, it's been a long time.
Well, we talked about him.
Yeah.
And
2
we had
years
the
ago.
picture.
Yep. Yeah. So, as my grandfather used to say, cheers to the boys.
Oh,
Ding. Yep. Tea time. We would get off the farm, right? We'd be out in the hay fields all day in 100-degree weather, throwing 1,000 bales a day. And then at, whenever the sun went down and we went to the farm, he would have Henry pour some whiskey in a coffee mug, a dirty stained coffee mug, and we'd have a little tea.
No, it sounds great to me.
It is. So also sponsoring the show, we have, the old reliables here, bare knuckle corn snacks, many different flavors, many delicious options. So go get yourself some bare knuckle corn snacks. You can follow them on Instagram, or you can go to bareknucklecornsnacks.com and buy some tasty treats for when you watch the next BKFC 44 headlined by Kai Stewart. And if you want to make some money on the damn event, go to BK Bet Shark on Instagram, follow his tutelage, and you will be lining your pockets. The guy batted 1,000 at BKFC 43 this past weekend. Once again, he was like 7-0 or 6-0. He hit every single thing he bet on, and he thinks he's getting capped now. BetOnline.ag or BetOnline.ag, whatever it is,
Bootleg site
will not let him bet over a certain dollar amount on certain fights now, and he said it's getting a little fishy, and they won't allow him to parlay.
Oh my god, dude! Come on, what are you guys going poor?
Yeah, what are you, bunch of poors?
You guys coming down to our level? You talking that this friggin' betting site has just as much money as we do now? Because BK Bet Shark's taking all their money.
Just cleaning them out, dude. Cleaning them out. So anyways, hit up BK Bet Shark, Bare Knuckle Corn Snacks, and Norcom Mortgage to help you out in all aspects of life. And let's go ahead and bring our first guest.
Let's make BetOnline AG poor. Come on.
Yes.
Join the fun.
Let's send them to the poorhouse, and then you can bring your ass over to DraftKings, where all the fucking real action's made. Anyways, let's go get the one half of the main event at the upcoming BKFC 44 in Great Falls, Montana, for the inaugural 145-pound BKFC featherweight title and the title of King of Montana. Let's go ahead and bring this guy on, the Outcast, Kai Hefty Bag Stewart.
Let's go. What's up, guys?
There it is. There it is. It's Hefty Bag.
Tell me, Kai, did I just introduce you the correct way? The Outcast, Kai Hefty Bag Stewart. That's how it is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm the king of Montana here. I'm the outcast of the Montana fight world. Everybody's attacking me, but, I'm the outcast. I'm the Hefty Bag. We're here. We're number one. We're going to win this belt.
There you are, man. 3-0, number one ranked featherweight in the BKFC right now, and you're going to be taking on your arch rival right now. But before we do that, let's rewind time a little bit, and let's talk about the last time me and Mike saw you out in Denver, Colorado, baby. What a time that was, huh?
Oh, yeah. Denver was an eye-opener. I think that's one thing that I have going into this in terms of confidence is being at the biggest event, biggest show that BKFC has put on, and being a part of it, being there, meeting everybody, saying hi to everybody, the attraction from the crowd I got, and I wasn't even on the card, on a star-studded card. So BKFC 41 was absolutely off the rails. It was so much fun.
Dude, one thing that you're doing that I don't see a lot of young fighters doing, which I would urge them to take a page out of your book, show up to events that you're not fighting at and be seen and mingle and take pictures and do what Kai is doing, because that is a straight up page out of the Juggernauts playbook, man. We've been to so many events, Mike and I, and of course we've been to a bunch of them that Lorenzo has fought on. But I can tell you that Lorenzo Hunt was at every single other event that we went to, hugging, kissing babies and fucking taking pictures.
He is out there.
He really is. He is out there in the crowd mingling, and now he's one of the faces of the sport. He's one of the biggest stars in the sport. maybe the biggest star in the sport because he's doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And I noticed that that's something that you're doing.
Yeah, you got to. And a lot of people, I've actually gotten a lot of shit from me going to all these shows like, oh, Kai's just doing all this traveling. He's not focused. I'm like, no, I get workouts in on the road. It's not that big of a deal. I'm promoting myself. I'm earning the bigger paychecks. I'm going to be earning this belt, and that's all there is to it. So 100%. People need to get, like, the fighters need to be in that fighter section a lot heavier. I don't really see any like negative to it other than it's a little pricey to go, but other than that, we're good, you know?
Oh, it's definitely something you need to do. I think we talked about this before, and you're doing the right thing because you're showing up just like Kyle was saying. But not only to that, but then you're going even further. And I see you all over the place when we're out. It's not just at the fights, it's at the weigh-ins, it's at the hotel, and it's at the after party too at Tom's Watch Bar that we had, which was awesome. And I know you were there with, was it your fiance?
My girlfriend, Dakota.
Your girlfriend?
Rose. Yeah, yep.
And I hope you guys had a good time there. Looked like you did. I got great pictures of you, and you even got to chat with some UFC fighters too that were there and try to talk them into coming over.
Yeah. I absolutely loved having my girlfriend out there. She had an absolute blast. So BKFC 41 definitely was just all, like you said, the after party, going to the fighter hotel, just everywhere. Like, it was so much fun. It
was awesome.
It really was, man. And now you got this huge event, this huge opportunity coming to headline in your home state against a guy who is also from your home state. You guys have this crazy beef between the two of you. I don't know where it came from, but it just seems to never like go away. It keeps growing and growing. And I think you posted something today about him swerving at you with his car.
Yeah, we were driving. I picked up the boys at the Weekly Bus, shout out. And
Weekly Bust. What's up, boys?
And we were able to, like, we looked across the street, and by God, there was Louie driving his car, and we turned. Let's go.
Yeah, what's up, man?
We turned, he turned, and then all of a sudden he looked at us with this really weird face, flipped us off, and then all of a sudden he's like swerving into my car, and I'm just like, "Are you joking? Like, well, what's your deal, bro?" Like, there's a big difference between professionalism and just hiring anybody to be on these cards, and I'm really hoping to fix that and make sure that he doesn't represent this company because he's doing a very terrible job.
Why does he dislike you so much? And it seems like, you don't like him too much either. What is this? Why so much?
I'm going to be completely real, and I hope this doesn't ruin the storyline of the fight. I think it makes it even better. The problem... Oops, I just broke it.
You just broke your medal.
It's my Special Olympics gold medal that people like to make fun of, but I had to rock it for the interview. But yes. I don't want to ruin the beef between me and Louie because it's definitely beef. He doesn't like me and I don't like him. But where it really boiled down was he called me out for an MMA fight. He jumped up onto this cage like, "Kai Stewart, you're next, baby." I can find the clip at some point. I need to before the fight. But then we signed to fight each other. This was in January. We had a plan to fight in April, MMA. And this was 2019 or 2020. And then he went off the rails saying how it's unfair and the promotion is biased and I can't do it for you guys and all these excuses under the sun. Okay, we didn't fight. We signed to fight again, and then all of a sudden he's doing professional baseball tryouts or whatever the fuck he wanted to go do. That's why his account says Louie Lopez athlete. He's not a fighter. Don't get it wrong. He's an athlete. But it's just that was our beef. And then it just kind of looked like we would never fight again. No big deal. I was training at Joe Riggs' gym at the time. And fun fact, Joe Riggs, because he knew that there was beef between me and Louie prior, asked me if I was okay with Louie coming to train with him at the gym because I was there at the time. And I was like, yeah, sure. We're never going to fight. Like, no big deal. And then whenever I left the gym, Joe Riggs had this crazy hissy fit, which he's still throwing till this day. And I truly think that's the beef. Louie has my Louie has Joe in his ear just constantly talking shit about me, saying, and I'm sure there's stipulations that if he doesn't beat me, he's done with Joe. And honestly, I don't put it past Joe. So, like, that's the beef. Joe Riggs is the beef. He's a bully, and I'm very happy he's not on this card and involved. I'm glad it's going the way that it's going, and I can't wait to settle the beef, because once I beat his boy, what can he say about me? What will he fucking say?
Dude, why do people if you go into our comments right now, you got multiple fighters in there. They all fucking seem to hate your ass, dude. What is it about the Outcast that just rubs everybody the wrong way? Because these motherfuckers, they hate you, dude.
Wanna know why?
I hope you're ready.
You wanna fucking know why? Oh, yeah. They're all mad because I'm number one and they're not. I'm fighting for a title and they're not. Like, some of the greats have endorsed me for a win in this fight. Elvin Brito being one of them. Beltran was one of them a while back in a podcast. Like, I have a lot of the big names that are like, and Lorenzo, he's always super cool. He's always super, and I'm going against a Riggs guy, so he's got me. And it's like all these bigger names who have been around, they're respecting me. I'm doing the right things. But I rub the wrong people, like the people that I rub the wrong way that don't like me just want what I have. And that's all I can say, because in the end, I'm selling enough tickets to know that I have an incredible fan base. I have incredible support, and I'm going to be walking in and out of the Four Seasons Arena June 9th with a smile on my face, and I'm walking out with a belt. So that's all that needs to matter. I'm ready to go, man. I love it.
Well, not to go too far off topic here, but let's see. Steve O'Morris said he doesn't hate you. You're just annoying and you can't fight. That is what he said.
Steve-O. Steve-O. One day, Steve-O. I will say, out of respect for Steve-O, I will say that I wanted to fight him. It just wasn't in the playing cards. And if it's ever in the playing cards, would I ever say no to Steve-O? Absolutely not. But he just got to earn it at this point.
So. Win a fight, Steve-O.
Yeah, let's go.
These guys, the weekly bust in the house. For those of you guys that are watching right now that don't know, that is Tylen Bates, and I don't know, is it Levi there as well? Is he hanging around somewhere?
Just me and Christian, man.
All right. Good dudes out there. If you're not following their podcast, you might as well start now. If you follow us, follow them. Yeah, look at that. Thank you for the support, buddy.
Thank you so much.
So how do you see this fight with Louie going? Do you think he come? Obviously, I think the hate and disdain is more strong on his side of the camp. So do you think he fights emotionally and that works to your favor? How do you see this thing working out?
He's going to come at me like an absolute train in the first round and a half. We got people in his camp that say that he can't go past a round and a half in a sparring session. So I'm expecting a huge barrage. I'm expecting him to come out. I'm expecting him to fight with a lot of emotion, because I know Joe Riggs is in his ear. So I just have to stay cool, calm, and collected. And in reality, I think, and I truly believe in my core that I'm going to make this fight look really easy. And I think it's going to, I think I'm going to make it look easy because of the emotions that this dude's bringing into it. Like, just seeing his face today, I know he don't want it. And I've known he hasn't wanted it since he pulled out of the MMA fights. So a lot of emotion. Bare knuckle is his chance, because you can go hard in a minute in bare knuckle, and bare knuckle hurts. But I'm a dog. I'm mentally built for this, and you're not getting me out of there.
Wow. I can't believe that you guys just happen to be from the same area, are both fighting in BKFC, are both in the same weight division, and just don't like each other from the same camp, basically. Yeah. I can't, how could you ever write that story? Truth is stranger than fiction, they say. I cannot believe, what are the odds on that? We got about 8 billion people in this world, and both of the fighters live up the street from one another. I feel like you guys run into each other all the time. Weren't you at a restaurant recently and you ran into each other?
Yeah, and he also had nothing to say there either, just so the public knows, and I have plenty of witnesses. we were chirping. He just wanted no part of it. He's an internet dog. That's all he's got. So
how odd is that though? You guys are like running into each other every day on the streets. You're going to like Texas Roadhouse on a Friday night, and you're 3 tables apart from one another. I mean, like, how the hell does this happen? It's
I think he better be very, very grateful that me and his coach have beef, because that's the only reason he's in this fight, and I truly believe that.
I can't believe he's not going to be there coaching him. Is that like
Joe Riggs ain't going to be there coaching him?
Well, when you just said he's not going to be there, he's not going to be a part of this. That's how I kind of took it.
He'll probably be there, but in reality, his name isn't above mine on a poster, which at this point shouldn't be. Like, if he wasn't such a bully to people in the community and to myself, my team, like, he has no respect, and I used to respect him. That's why I went to train in his gym. But I'm glad he's out of there, and I'm glad that I'm going to take a win against one of his guys.
Okay, I took that the wrong way when you said he wasn't a part
apologies.
of it.
I can see how you saw that, but yeah, he's not fighting, so that's all that matters.
Sure,
it's crazy. Now, you were pretty active when you first got on the scene with the BKFC. You fought like 3 times, and I'm not good at counting right now, but like 8 or 9 months, 3 times in 8 or 9 months, and you have not fought since September last year. Was the break from September to now? It's a 9-month break. Was that because you knew that they were going to give you a shot at this title, or were they just not calling?
I have had an MMA fight since the last fight, so I'm still like ready to go. I know ring rust is going to happen, but I told everybody, like, I wouldn't lie. I'm not a liar, and I told everybody I was promised a title fight against Rusty Crowder. Like, I promised a #1 contender fight against Rusty Crowder. I went out there, I won, and I got it, and I was stubborn. There was a couple times I wanted to take short notice fights that were offered to me. They weren't directly offered to me, but a matchmaker got a hold of me and was like, your name can be in the hat. And I did contemplate a couple of them, but in the end I was like, you know what, I'm not risking this. I know for a fact I have a title fight, and it would be silly for me not to fight for the title. I truly thought it was going to be against Howard Davis. But without Kai Stewart being in a world title fight for BKFC 145-pound division, it just was silly. So I held out and stood my ground. And thank you, David Feldman. Thank you, Nate Shook. Thank you, BKFC, for the opportunity. I won't let you down.
So when you go out there and you fight Louie, and if you come out victorious, you become the first ever BKFC featherweight champion. You have also at that point fought 4 times in Montana. Would you like your first fight outside of Montana to be defending your title, or do you want to defend it one more time in Montana before going to like Florida and fighting Howard or Steve-O or Brandon Allen or any one of these guys? They're all based out of Florida. Mm-hmm. So
I would love to do a ticket sale for ticket sale, because in reality, I fight in Montana. Everybody makes fun of me for this too, but it's like, we're a business. You got to do the smart thing. I make literally double the money in Montana because of my ticket sales. I sell a fuck ton of tickets, and I don't really want to give that up, but in the end, I can wish all this stuff, but BKFC makes the decisions, and I'm down to fight wherever, but I love fighting in Great Falls, and I love my fan base. I love the boys. I want to stay here, but, business is business.
Let's make it
right. Yeah, and like I could totally get that. You and becoming crowned the quote unquote king of Montana, you would want to stay there in front of your people, but you eventually want to become like a star in bare knuckle, right? So in order to become a face of the company or a big name in bare knuckle, eventually you got to venture outside of the boundaries of Montana, right?
And I 100% agree with that. I do know that if I go to Florida, there's a possibility. Like Dat I'm assuming that they're probably gonna want Dat win to fight for the belt next. He's getting older. They're gonna give him a shot. I don't know if he pulls a big enough draw to be like a main event of like a big Florida card where I'd get paid enough to be there. I just think that my ticket sales compared to his, I would say I do not know the numbers, so I could be totally wrong. So I apologize if I am. I would be willing to bet on myself in terms of how the amount of money I bring in. So,
well, I can tell you this. Before we're going to speed round you real quick, and then we're going to get you out of here. we appreciate your time. But if you do come out victorious here, who I would have, if I had a vote as a fan of the sport, I would want to see you fight Brandon Allen. No offense to Howard, no offense to anybody else. I think Brandon Allen has proven himself in that division. He has fucking taken out everybody they've thrown in front of him recently, and he comes from a great gym. I think you and him would be a great fight after this, but you definitely got to go out there and do your thing against Louie first. With that, oh, go ahead. Give me your thoughts on Brandon.
I don't disagree with you. Like, hats off to Brandon Allen. He had an absolute phenomenal showing. He excited me as a competitor. Like, he excited me with that fight because it's only going to push me harder. It's going to push me harder to be the best in the division, like I am. And I do think that he's earned it. We'll just see what Bare Knuckle thinks, because who knows? Like, I think it makes sense. I think the people would think it makes sense. I just think that there is an agenda, and I think there's going to be a lot of going on. But in the end, it's going to be me with the belt, so it don't matter.
Well, like I said, we're excited to see this fight for sure. The build-up's been awesome. The beef between you guys is real, and you guys are fighting in front of your home people. So we will be tuned in. Mike and I will not be making the trip, unfortunately, because you guys are fighting smack dab in the middle of like the busiest time for the our military side of the. We're also
good old annual training, right? Dead in the middle weekend of annual training.
Shout out to the soldiers for sure.
We'll be
watching. We appreciate you, brother.
I had drill on Friday night, and we were there late, and I had the fights up, and people were watching it, and they love it because not a lot of people. That's the biggest thing about this sport. It's not that people won't like it or don't like it. They don't even know about it. A lot of people. I tell people, they're like, "What?" So I played it, and they loved it. It was fantastic, and they loved every second of it. So
we're doing our part to spread the word.
That's right.
Let's get you 4 questions that are not so fight related here, and make some people laugh real quick. Number 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at freestyle rapping?
I'm gonna have to give myself maybe a 3.
I like your honesty.
Yeah, that's one thing that if it honestly. That's a activity for whenever there is alcohol being ingested, if I'm being completely honest. And it's a 3 at that point. So right now, that's like a 0. That's like a 0.
Okay, all right.
So like that's where I'm at on that.
There you go. Number 2.
Do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
I hope this is right. It is not a tumor.
That is right. That's Kindergarten Cop. That's
a good one.
That was pretty lame. Pretty lame, Kai. But okay.
You're not an
actor. You're not an actor. You're a fighter. Number 3. When was the last? What? Okay, I'm supposed to say what? What was the last YouTube rabbit hole you fell into?
Oh boy, probably there are space videos. But probably like. I had just gotten to Albuquerque, actually, and I literally, it was an off day, and I spent 7.5 hours watching space videos. It was kind of fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, space is fucked up, dude. I'm telling you.
Space, man.
But yeah.
There was no weed involved in that 7 hours of YouTube rabbit hole, was there?
There's a lot.
You've seen space, but have you seen space on weed, man?
Yeah. All right, last question.
If you could start a non-combat sports-related business in Great Falls, what would the business be?
Man, I already got it going. I'm going with my business, Catch a High. It's a.
You look at space on weed?
Yes, sir. Fish pipe. Get it? But anyway,
nice. It looks like a lure.
It's a fish pipe with a bobber grinder. And it's kind of like a little novelty thing that's popping off. So as soon as this fight's over, I'm going to definitely spend some time focusing on this and trying to get it to blow up and start wholesaling it. Because outside of that, I would probably say, I would just be like the backer of it. I would definitely want to get some true, real, authentic Mexican food. Right, real, like food truck tacos, not like the big old, because we have a couple nice restaurants in town. But definitely an authentic taco truck. Would love to get those in here.
Why does it take a truck to make good food? What is that? We got a whole building, but a little truck just does a better job. I don't understand it.
Because I feel like if you go to a Mexican restaurant, you're expecting a whole bunch of different like Mexican platters, all this type of stuff. But if you go to a food truck, there's not much more than like 3 items you should have to expect to do.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's
a burrito,
truck. Unless you get like a little bodega type thing.
They specialize.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome answers, dude. Your character. We are excited to see you fight Louie. June 9th, BKFC 44. The rivalry boils over at BKFC 44, and I can't wait to see who gets crowned that title. Take a second, say some final words, and we'll let you get out of here.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to announce that I don't know where it's going to be played. I don't know where it's going. I think we have a lot of big plans in work, but we are filming a documentary regarding being the youngest we're working towards being the youngest BKFC world champion. What goes into it, past life. I want to announce that because everybody thinks, like, a lot of the Florida people think that I've had just this easy go. They call me this privileged kid, and you guys are all going to be fucking shocked. But I'd also like to say, I think it's like International Wrestling Day, and I want to tell all the wrestlers out there that just fucking keep going, and wrestlers run this world. That's pretty much it. But Native Grown, Halftime Sports Bar, Haitoki Laser, which I got it right here, The Weekly Bust, and Kyle Ney for these badass shirts that we got going on. Get at me, $25 to white out the stadium. It's going to be dope, and I appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and giving us some of your time. Mike, you got anything else for him?
Man, thank you so much. And wish we could be there, but we'll be watching with the troops.
Yep. I'll see you probably next show. I'm going to be traveling a lot.
Yes, all right, sir. Buddy.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Later. There he is.
Yes, sir.
The Outcast, the hefty bag himself.
Before we go to our next guests, right? Because we got two.
Yeah, we got two
guests at the same time. We want to let everyone know, stick around because we have another giveaway. We will be giving away the signed Perry versus Rockhold BKFC 41 Denver poster. So as you can see, it's signed by many people there. Just about every single person on the card. Not every single person, but just about every single person. We will be giving that away for free if you can answer a question later on in the show after these next interviews. So stay tuned. And tell your friends.
Yeah, man, that's an awesome poster. A poster that's going to have Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendez, Beck Rollins, Luke Rockhold. It's fucking awesome. That's cool to hang in your house if you're a fan. Now,
BK Extreme Fans page gave us that, and I almost told them just to give that to me on the DL, and we weren't even going to give it away today. But the kindness of my heart, I said, nah, let's give it to somebody. I don't need it. You know what I mean? So I could have stole that thing.
Yeah, man, it's a great one. I got one, actually. I got one while I was there. So our next guest moved to 4-0 this past weekend. When he fought the former BKFC welterweight champion, Elvin Leon Brito. Great fight, close fight, but this dude has definitely planted his flag in that welterweight division, and I don't know if the new rankings came out. I don't know if he's in the top 5, but he damn near should be if he's not already. And he's going to be joined by his coach, who did a bang-up job in that fucking corner, mic'd up. We're going to talk to both of these gentlemen now. Our next guest is Carlos Trinidad-Snake and Danny Molina. What's up, boys?
What's up? How's it going? How's it going?
Hey.
What's going on, man? Welcome to the show. That's Mike. I'm Mish, and we're happy to have you guys on here, man. Welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be on, man.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, number 5.
Number 5. Hey, there you go, buddy.
There you are.
Number
5.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. You absolutely deserve it. Going out there and getting a win like that over a guy like Elvin Brito is no fucking walk in the park. And you look great out there. How did you, now that the fight's over, and I'm sure you've watched it over, you and your coach have probably watched it over, a couple times at least. What did you think about your performance? And if you could go back, what would you have done differently?
Man, I think performance was good on both our parts. I liked everything I did. He did some things I didn't expect, but overall, I thought it was a good fight. I did think it was a little bit close fight, but I did think I did enough to walk away with it. And I think I was landing kind of the heavier shots. If I can go back and change what I did, wouldn't necessarily change the game plan. I figured I executed it how I wanted to, but I think there were just some shots I took that I probably just, if I could miss them, I wouldn't take those shots.
He's an awkward fighter, and you said it, but you know how I know you said it, because Sean Wheelock likes to talk about his fighter meetings every single event. He's like, in the fighter meeting, we talked.
That's one of those bingo card things. If you had a bingo drinking game for BKFC nights, that would be one of them. Sporting touch of hands, fighter meeting. You'd be just taking shots left and right.
Yeah. Now, Danny, you coach Carlos, you coach a whole bunch of killers. We'll get into that in a few minutes, but preparation for a guy like Elvin Brito, coming up with a game plan for a dude that is constantly switching stances, is in and out, his hands are up, his hands are down. He's got like the old school fucking, 30 style boxing at one time. Then it's like, was it a challenge coming up with a game plan for a guy like Elvin?
Yes and no. And I'll go back to Sean Wheelock to the fighter meeting stuff. But
yeah,
in the fighter meeting, he asked me about it. And I said, watching film was just frustrating because as a coach, I'm sitting there and I'm like, stay still, stop moving, stop moving so much so I can get a read on what you're really trying to do. But that's part of his style. And that's part of why he's successful. Brito's successful. So from a coaching standpoint, it's frustrating because you're trying to pick up on your reads and you're trying to pick up on when he switches stances and what he does after he switches stances. And that's really what I try to focus on was, when he enters and when he switches his stances, what does he throw? And depending on that, we're going to execute our game plan. And Carlos was able to do it. And against a guy like Brito, you're never going to look great because he moves around so much and he's hard to hit. He's just one of those guys that you may beat him, but it's not going to look pretty. So
right, and every single one of his fights, if it doesn't get finished and it goes to they're always close fights. His fight with Palomino was razor close. Him and Caleb Harris went the distance, and that was kind of a close fight. I mean, the guy always goes the distance, and he's always in these tight decisions. But it was a great win for you, Carlos, especially him being a former champion. And now this knocks you right up into that top 5. The plan going forward, man, you want a top 5er, I would imagine right now, right? You're 27 years old. You're in like the fastest growing sport in the world. You're coached well by Danny. What's the next move for you?
Whoever's in the top 5, whoever they're throwing at me, I want to fight someone in the top 5, if not for some type of belt, whether it be the interim belt or the belt. I figured I put myself in that position, and I honestly feel there's only a couple of us in the top 5 right now, I guess, that who should deserve it. But I'll just wait until they call my name.
That division has like almost like in the last couple months become one of the most interesting divisions in the entire organization. Now that like Eddie Alvarez is there and Connor Turney and Jake Lindsay fought over in London and Jake knocked him out. Like Jake Lindsay's a very interesting fighter. Yep. You just fought Elvin. Joe Elmore is talking about fighting Brad Kelly. Like these are all guys that I could totally see you fucking throwing down with at some point. But like you just said, a guy like Jake Lindsay makes sense to me. If Palomino is fighting James Lilly for the 155 belt, right, that means that your division's being held up again. And yeah, maybe an interim is something that should be talked about.
For sure. And I think Jake Lindsay would be a good opponent. Like I said, I do think only a couple of us on the top 5 deserve it. He's one of them for sure. Other than that, like I'm not really concerned with anybody else making noise.
Danny, when you look at the top 5, what would you want to go for as a team and as a coach? What would you say would be the next opponent?
I'd say Carlos should be fighting. I mean, just going by rankings, you just beat the number 1 ranked guy. So sometimes if you're moving forward, it doesn't really make sense to move backwards.
Absolutely.
Right. So for him to fight someone not ranked or 3rd or 4th, I'm not really sure that makes sense. So I think in this sport, you keep what you kill. So for him taking that number 1 spot, he should be next in line. Now, obviously, Palomino's kind of tied up, so that either means we have to wait we're going to sit stagnant until it's our turn, or we'll fight somebody for the interim belt. And I think that leaves it up to us now to make some noise, here or in the media to talk it into fruition. So those are the 2 things that make sense. It's either Palomino gives the belt up at 165, which I don't really foresee him doing. You have no reason to.
Right.
But let's say in a perfect world he does, then Carlos can fight somebody for it, or we press BKFC enough to put on an interim title with Carlos and one of these other guys.
All right, let's go back to this Elvin fight, because we got to talk about this a little bit. The first round, you hit him with the uppercut and you drop him. And that kind of shocked a lot of us, because Elvin is Elvin, and Elvin's, top of the division.
I was like, holy shit!
What
the fuck just happened?
He's a mainstay in that division, and always has been. You fucking drop him, boom, he falls, he gets up, his a little wobble, but he gets his bearings. Then the fucking bell rings, right? The bell rings.
Weird,
what's going on in your guys' head when the fucking bell rings? Because that was weird.
Yes,
and I know mistakes happen, but what goes on in your head when you hear this bell?
Man, so right before the bell, they call me over and they say my tape on my shoelaces came undone. So they stop it for that. And then after I dropped him, he did the 10 count. Then they stopped me for the tape. Then we go get ready to go, and then they say bell. And I feel like I almost headbutted the referee at that point, because I was it literally was in the pause of a punch. He came in, and I was like, what's the deal? Still had a minute on the clock. But I felt like it was just a funky first round, man, to be honest.
It really
and
was.
But it's all good, man.
Yeah.
I
heard the bell was like,
go ahead. Sorry.
It's like, there's still a minute left. This is wrong. A mistake kind of let Elvin off the hook a little bit. Obviously, if you have somebody dropped with a minute left, you'd like that time to add a little bit of pressure. And in a perfect world, if you do get dropped, you want it at the end of the round, so this way you can catch your bearings and get a little bit of a break. So he kind of lucked out a little bit, but it is what it is. Shit happens.
I didn't even think about it in that aspect. It gave him a few more seconds to get his bearings a little more. So it was wild. And then in between the rounds, you can actually hear the referee in the background go, "This timekeeper's got it out for me." You can hear him say it on the live broadcast. But I wanted to say, and you guys could both speak on this. When they mic up a corner, you don't always get the content that we got out of you guys in that fight. And Wheelock and Lytle were singing your praises, Danny. In between rounds, you were giving him down to the detail directions on what exactly to fucking do in between rounds. And if he took a round off, you told him. You can't be taking rounds off. Now you got to go fuck this motherfucker up. Go in there, 1-1, 1-1-6, 6-3, 1-1-2. I got to give you major props on that. But Carlos, talk about having a guy who knows what the hell he's talking about so well in the corner. Like Wheelock said, sometimes you have a corner and sometimes you have cheerleaders, and that's not a cheerleader. That was a pretty cool thing.
For sure. Man, I've been working with my coach since I was 18, 19. I'm a grown man now. I'm 27. I put a lot of faith in him. So I trust and believe everything he says, So if he's out there, he's 10 feet away from me and he can see it, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen for it because I know it's there. And we caught a couple of those shots, just working together like that. And I just put all my faith in my coach, man. That's how you do it.
Danny.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I'm very fortunate enough to be able to coach a lot of high level athletes, and I get a lot of practice, and I really don't see, this isn't my job. This is my career, but this is my life. Fighting is my life. So it just comes so naturally to me. And like I said, I'm just really blessed that a lot of high level athletes like Carlos and Anthony and Haji and a lot of the guys from the gym, they trust me, to lead them in the battle. So, just the week before I had, somebody fight in Charlotte for the UFC, and I was mic'd up for that fight too. So a lot of it is just me being able to hone in and really dial in and stay focused for these guys. Because at the end of the day, I care about their well-being inside the ring or the cage or the octagon, whatever you want to call it, but also outside. So I know if I have to do my job when they're inside, so this way they can take care of business and go back to their families and their loved ones on the outside. So I really have to make sure, but I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes in the corner before, and it's just accountability. As a coach, you really have to take accountability, and you got to grow as a coach too. I can't be saying the same stuff I was saying 10 years ago. These guys, their lives change, the fights change, fights get bigger, the brights get lighter, the lights get brighter. And yeah, man, I'm just, like I said, I'm really fortunate enough and blessed these guys trust me.
And 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been coaching this sport. Right?
No, right.
This is a new sport.
Right.
Like, what is it like for you, being a lifer in the combat sports world? And like you said, Anthony Smith, and you have Bellator fighters and PFL fighters, and you had 4 BKFC fighters on this past card. Being in combat sports for so long, and now all of a sudden this new sport in the last few years has come around, and you guys have been one of the lucky states to have it, frequently in Nebraska. Man, how much different do you train these? Like, what goes into training for a BKFC fight compared to like what you've done in the past?
Yeah, so it's a little different. Honestly, when the sport kind of came to fruition, I was kind of on the fence about it. And then they were coming to Omaha, and I had Carlos and one of my UFC vets on, and obviously at that stage regionally, the money that they're able to make and the opportunity, I can't really pass it up for these guys. Training is definitely different. We try to approach it a little bit more boxing heavy, obviously, but we have to take into account clinching. We have to take into account some defense. Because it's real easy to get cut in this sport. It's real easy to get cut. So just keeping them busy. But I put on bare knuckle classes for just the guys that have bare knuckle fights coming up. And it's just us, and I add a little bit more of my other high level athletes to help them. But it's a lot of it is just staying behind the jab, taking your power shots behind your jab, working the body, and just moving the correct way and clinching the correct way. So yeah, I definitely have had to adapt along the way. But it's been an interesting ride, because cornering a bare knuckle fight is a lot different than cornering an MMA fight or a boxing match. I got a lot of college wrestlers on the team. When they're fighting, their first few amateur fights, I know if they get in any sort of trouble, they can take a guy down, kind of lay on them and ride it out. Here, you get hit, it might be beginning of the end for you. So it's like walking into a street fight, but you can't do anything about it. The first time I cornered Carlos, it was for a bare knuckle. It was definitely different, but I've been able to adapt the past couple years.
Yeah, it's got to be crazy. I would imagine so. And I mean, like I said, you guys went 4-0 this past week,
right?
And on top of Carlos's win over Elvin, you had this 205-pounder, absolute fucking destroyer of a human being, Ryan Braun. Like, talk about this guy, because 2-0 in the BKFC, and both of his knockouts are just fucking ferocious. Talk a little bit about Ryan.
Ryan's we've been giving him nicknames this week. We've been calling him like the Brood, or I've been calling him Buzzsaw, because this is his sport. I coached Ryan when he was fighting MMA, and he had a great MMA career. He had over 30 pro fights, college wrestler. But I've always said Braun just has the heaviest hands out of any athlete I've ever worked with. And so Houston was the main event. And a while back on social media, somebody asked, who's the hardest hitter you've ever had? And a lot of people assumed it'd be Houston, because he's a big brute guy too. But I'm always like, Nah, it's definitely Ryan Braun. And I always say it in front of Houston to kind of get, just kind of get under his skin too.
Yeah.
But Braun's just he has a lot of heart too, man. So his first bare knuckle fight, he came out a little slow. He got dropped right away. But I knew once he would settle, it only takes a little bit from a guy like that. Because he's got really strong grip strength, and he just has the bone structure for it. And at the end of the day, there's like an expression going on right now. He's got that dog in him. Braun's got that dog in him, So that dude will come forward and keep his chin tucked and swing with anybody. So
I can't believe he's a 205er. He sure as fuck doesn't look like a 205er. That dude looks like a straight up heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he didn't cut any weight. He didn't cut any weight. He woke up on weight. So
wow, dude, unbelievable. So I can't wait to see what they do with him. A lot of you guys, and it's not a knock on you guys, but they haven't booked you outside of Nebraska. Like a lot of you Nebraska fighters, you fight in Nebraska. And there's a lot of guys outside of Nebraska that we would love to see you guys fucking scrap with. You know what I mean? Right. I would love to see them take you to Florida and fight, somebody down there in Hollywood or in Tampa. I would love to see Ryan Braun go in there, go to Denver and fight Chris Camozzi. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Right.
I would love to see what they do with you guys. Yeah, man, he's a world beater, and your boy Sean Wilson, he seems to have quite the fucking audience out there in Nebraska. He seems to be super popular.
Yeah, Sean's an old school guy that's been around a long time. He's in all combat sports, he probably has over 200 fights.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, and I'm so proud of Sean because he felt he had a terrible performance, the last time out, and. He didn't want to show any excuses, but I know he had a couple injuries and he didn't want to pull out because, at the end of the day, he's a wonderful father, just like Ryan Braun and all my guys. They're wonderful dads. And it's hard to be like, oh, Sean, maybe we should pull out. And I don't want to take money out of his pocket. It's a hard balance to find. But Sean fought the best fight he has in a really, really long time. And he listened well and he trained his ass off. So he definitely earned it for sure.
Hell yeah. Congratulations to you guys out there. And like I said, and Carlos, you train with these guys and you're surrounded by all these killers. And you just told us that you've been there since you were 18 years old. You almost 10 years, with your coach. And has like Anthony Smith always been around you? Is that a guy that's always been around you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, man. We battle it out all the time. And
he hates playing with Carlos. He hates it.
It's like a back and forth, man.
Yeah.
We don't really have too many like middle guys. It's either big guys or small guys. So I don't consider myself a big guy really, but I do enough to where I keep up with them. I feel like I'm elusive enough, I'm slick enough, and I get underneath them. And really, what it is my range, dude, is just so long. And even the heavyweights, dude, I'm right there with them. My arms are just so long, dude. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you are significantly big for the 165 division for sure. Like you do look like you're in a different weight class. Even like when you were in there with Elvin the other day, you're like 5 inches taller than him, and a 9-inch reach advantage on him. So I was just listening to Anthony actually earlier today on the midday show, and I'm like. So Mike and I started this podcast 2 years ago, right? And we started it as a side hobby. We're both full-time for the Army National Guard. So Monday to Friday, we're always in uniform and we're always doing Army shit. But we love combat sports and we've always been into fighting. So we started this podcast, and I'm sitting there listening to the MMA Today with Dean Thomas and Anthony Smith. And I'm sitting in my truck driving, going to get a cup of coffee, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm going to be talking to this guy's coach tonight, and Dean Thomas has been on our show twice. It's just fucking surreal to me that
yeah, it really is.
It's really crazy. Now, is Anthony somebody that you could see taking gloves off and slinging some bare hands at some point, Danny?
No, his wife would kill me. One bare knuckle for Anthony. And I always throw hypothetical situations at I'll throw regional fighters that never didn't pan out to be anything to a big show, and I'll be I'll tell his wife come on, think about it. Bare Knuckle was throwing $3 million at him and he was able to fight, John Doe. And she'd be like, all right, at that point, maybe. But I obviously know that's not going to happen. But no, I don't think so. I think Anthony's happy with where he's at with the UFC. And obviously we had a rough go last week, but I have 100% faith in him that we'll get this turned around and we'll get back on a winning streak. So that's the thing about this sport. It's all about highs and lows. Right now, the team's, running a really, really good high. I know it'll come down at some point. We're going to go right back up. But the key is just staying level-headed, not getting too big for your britches from a coaching standpoint, from an athlete standpoint. So that's why we just put so much emphasis on staying in the gym when we don't have fights and just continuously training to get better.
Nice. I have a question. Kyle, did you want to follow that up? Because I have a question.
Go ahead.
So there's a question that was asked in the comments. And actually, it's just something that I've thought of in the past too, like wondering about this. And Jeff Bush has asked, where did he get the beaded snake necklace? Badass. What's the story behind that?
So obviously I'm Native American. I didn't have that all the time, but I always wanted something like that. And so when I started fighting for the bare knuckle, after my second fight, I met a lady and she said she wanted to get one made for me, whatever. And so she put me in contact with the right people, and, she asked me what I wanted, and my last name's Snake, so I wanted the snake on there. Just to honor my people, man, my heritage, everything, where I'm from, stuff like that. And, I just want to blow up my grandma's name and just let everybody know we're here.
Definitely
pretty
cool.
Awesome.
That is definitely cool. Yeah, that's being out in like the Midwest. I actually worked right next to me was a Native American girl who did 35 years in the fucking army, which is way too long, by the way. Don't ever do that. If you're in the army and you get past like 25, just fucking retire. It's too long. Anyways, yeah, man, she like would tell me crazy ass stories because like we're from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. He's from Rhode Island. Out here, the tribes are Mohegan and Mashantucket Pequot, right? But the people that you meet that are tribal look like me and Mike, and they all fucking mooch off of the casino's money, right?
Okay.
Lisa Yoakum was her last name. She like grew up on a reservation where like she told me all kinds of crazy stories. Did you grow up in that kind of like a reservation environment? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I definitely grew up on the res. I went to school on the res for a little bit, kind of in between Sioux City, Iowa, and Winnebago, Nebraska. But I'm always back and forth. Like, it's where all my family was at, so my grandmas are from. So I was like there every weekend, went to Sunday school there, my choka, means grandpa, he kept me in the church, on the Native American church, baptized me, gave me his name. So I'm just real proud of everything like that and where I'm from, man. And like I said, I just want all my people that came out for my last show. They held a watch party in my tribe, and all I wanted was just a recognition from my tribe, man. And I didn't feel like I was getting it for a little while. And then when I heard they were going to hold a watch party for me, they had vendors there, got food going. And it was just awesome, man. I felt all the love. So I just want to give a shout out to all my people in Winnebago, Nebraska. Thanks for taking time to watch me. Thanks for always cheering me. I appreciate you all.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice. Yeah, there was a question from that you just answered, and it was from Wesley Kill Eagle Jr. What tribe are you in?
Ho Chunk Tribe, Nebraska, right?
Winnebago
Indians.
That is
you kind of went right into it before I even got to ask it.
Very cool. And before we're going to do some speed round questions with you guys. But before we do, I'm going to go back to the fact that I was listening to your teammate, Anthony Smith, today. And I'm going to steal a topic that him and Dean talked at length about today. Right. And Danny, being a boxing coach and owning a boxing gym, you might want to chime in on this one too. Tyson Fury and John Jones's beef right now.
Right.
The conversation today between Dean and Anthony were that Tyson Fury would not leave the room alive, right? If they were locked in a room together,
right,
Fury and John Jones, Fury's going to die. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that John Jones and Tyson Fury, one, could ever happen, and two, would Tyson Fury even stand a slight bit of a chance against him?
Will it happen? I mean, Dana White knows the pay-per-view model, and he knows the pay-per-view market, and he knows how to put on big fights. I know he'll come out and say, "I don't do gimmick fights," but he's had James Toney, he's had CM Punk. You know, he's had some gimmicky things. Yep. He's obviously in business with Logan Paul with the Prime deal. If you sat in front of Dana and said, "Listen, I think this fight can do 5 million pay-per-view buys if we did, you know, some sort of match with Jones and Fury,"
they'd do it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna it would happen.
If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Exactly. So I mean, he did Mayweather McGregor, and they did a really good job promoting that and marketing that and selling it. I actually was there, so they got me. They got my money. So but if they did fight, it's just, and I'm not reinventing the wheel, but obviously if they fought in an MMA octagon, that's a pretty easy win for Jones. Jones is not known to be the greatest boxer. Tyson would obviously get him. If they were locked in a room together, I am a striking coach first, but I'm an MMA coach. I am 100% comfortable admitting that, yeah, Tyson Fury ain't coming to that place alive. So, and that's, like I said, not a knock on Tyson and as a person or a fighter, but let's be real. I mean, Jones has been wrestling for how long? He's wrestled at a high level for how long? Look, you know, Lyoto Machida had a black belt and he freaking left him for dead with the front headlock choke. I mean, you know, I would trust Machida to learn how to defend a choke before I would Tyson Fury. So, and I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, but
don't you think? Okay, don't you think that if I agree with you, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Yeah. Don't you think that if they were locked in a room, there's obviously no rule set, right?
Right.
The street gypsy king would bite a fucking hole in his face and try to twist his nuts off and do some crazy like cheap shot shit to like get out of there alive.
100%. I think so too. Yeah.
But couldn't John do the same
John
thing?
Would do.
Yeah, I guess so.
And listen, I'm not trying to knock John, but is this a training camp John, or is this a out of camp hopped up on disco dust John?
hey, it's just any day, right? So it could be anything.
I think that plays a factor.
Well, yeah, maybe that's a pay-per-view right there. Maybe that's a pay-per-view. You lock them in a room with a pile of cocaine and some booze, and you give them 24 hours, right? And in 24 hours, let's see who comes out alive.
What do you think, Carlos?
Man, I think honestly, I do think John Jones wins that. I like Tyson Fury. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, but John Jones, he's just a tactician, man. You know, he's just way too smart. And he's not going to play in his game. You know, he's a champion. He's going to go in there, winning his fight, and I think he takes it 100%.
He's a GOAT. I mean, he's the GOAT.
I have to agree because I feel like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Fury doesn't really have those skills. I don't hang out with Tyson Fury, so maybe he has some sort of skills in those areas. I don't know, but it's not going to be anywhere near the level. So the second that John grabs him, he's not going to let go of him. You know what I mean? You guys know better than I do. He's just not going to let go of him. It's all over.
John's a big guy. Like, people make fun of his legs.
He is big.
He's got a weird structure. Like, his calves are obviously not, proportional to his body, but he's got big, wide hips. He's got a big back. Like, I remember, obviously I cornered Anthony when we fought John, and, John always does that cartwheel when he enters the octagon.
Yes. But
John did that cartwheel, like, right in front of me, and I swear I thought his feet were going to touch the ceiling of the arena. And I just was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's back is huge, as a mile long. It was insane. He's a big guy.
Crazy thing about them, we were in Albuquerque, and he was there with his brothers, right? And they're massive. They're massive. And so at his table, he was probably the smallest guy at the table. Can you imagine that?
Right. That's wild.
They were huge. Yeah. You guys are just so big, and that's what he's been dealing with his whole life.
Yeah.
Right, he's the runt brother. Can you imagine? He's the runt. He's the runt of the litter there in fucking the Jones house. Man, I appreciate you guys coming on this show. I feel like we can talk to you guys all night, but we like to have we like to fuck around and have some fun questions. Yeah. And we did that with Kai at the end of that But for Carlos,
We have
got
some
some
for both of you.
Yeah, we got some for. This is Carlos first. All right, Carlos Trinidad-Snake. What is your all-time favorite snake movie?
Snake movie. Escape from New York. Snake Blitzkin.
Oh, look at
dude.
that.
Yes. Kurt Russell at his best.
Yes.
I'm glad you didn't say Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane. You know what I just learned
Or
the other
Anaconda.
day? Is that Snakes on a Plane was supposed to be called like Pan Am Flight 317 or something like that. And then Samuel L. Jackson got to the set and was like, no, I did not sign on for Pan Am whatever. I signed on for Snakes on a Plane, and I won't do the movie unless it's Snakes on a Plane.
No shit.
Can you imagine that? If it was Pan Am Flight whatever, it would have, you know what I mean? Who would have watched that movie?
Never heard of it, right?
That's funny, dude. Well, Samuel L. Jackson, most powerful man in Hollywood. Here we go. Number 2.
If you had your choice on where to fight next outside of Omaha, where would you like to fight?
I want to fight in Thailand.
Ooh, good answer.
I love that.
Dude, good answer.
And by the way, BKFC has Thailand. Look at that.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. You can go out there and fight Buakaw.
I would. I think he's a little bit smaller, but
No, I think Buakaw fights out. Like, he fought at 175 for BKFC Thailand.
really, wow.
Yeah. Sanchai is the smaller one of the two.
Yeah, Sunshine smaller. Yeah.
Here we go. Mike, look that up. Number 3.
I am.
What really grinds your gears, Carlos?
It really grinds my gears. When I'm cutting weight and I can't eat, just somebody's always eating around me, and I'm just always wanting like what I can't have. So as soon as that thing's done, I'm eating everything, dude.
It's a good answer, that's for sure. I like to eat. I'm a fat boy. Number 4.
Number
4. What's the worst job you've ever held?
Worst job I ever held. Let's see. I used to ride a forklift, okay? And the people weren't the problem. It was kind of just boring. I'm not a factory person, man. I need to be outside. I like seeing different environment, different jobs. I'm more of a hands-on guy, I guess.
There you go. You said driving a forklift? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Driving a forklift in a warehouse.
Oh, dude. I used to work at this copper company when I was 18 years old. Fresh out of high school, I got this badass job before I got laid off, and then I ended up joining the Army. But I was a stupid-ass 18-year-old kid, and I loved tooling around on that thing because I was constantly fucking off with it, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Now, Danny.
Oh, to cut in here, yeah, I just saw Falcon wrote it too. 158 is what generally around where he fights. I have been looking for with the BKFC exactly what he weighed in.
I'm telling
not
you,
too far off.
Yes, I know
probably
that.
cut that way.
But I'm telling you, for the BKFC, he fought heavier. I'm telling you,
Really?
I am positive about this. But okay, Danny Molina, where's the best place that you've ever visited? You've been there and done that. Best place?
Venice, Italy.
Venice, Italy.
Yeah,
Nice.
the boat town, a little
Yeah.
island. Yeah, just beautiful. Just
The old gondola.
yeah, just the food, the culture, the people. You just feel like you're in another world, and just the way they live their life. Like their transportation is just all boats. I was very fortunate enough to go there by myself a few years ago, and it was just the most like relaxing, peaceful place I've ever been. So definitely Venice, Italy.
And you weren't there on business?
I wasn't there for fights. No. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
For fights, the best place, probably Sweden. When Anthony fought Gustafsson in Stockholm.
Ah,
that was fun.
Yeah, Gustafsson.
I know. I looking through your Instagram. You had a bunch of cool pictures and stuff. So I was like, man, he's been all over. If you could train with anyone from the past, who would it be?
A couple people would be either Tommy Hearns, George Foreman, or Felix. I mean, Felix Trinidad too. Those are like some of my favorite fighters. Definitely those three. Lately, I've been on this Tommy Hearns kick. Even like this training camp, I had Carlos work the same combination. I didn't foresee him be able to hit it on Brito because he moves around too much, but had him work the same combination that Hearns beat Roberto Duran with. So it'd definitely be those guys. It'd be Hearns, Felix Trinidad, and George Foreman. I'm a big George Foreman fan.
Very cool.
The movie, the George Foreman movie, is that out right now? Is
It's
it
out. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to check that out. My father-in-law, my wife's dad, is a gigantic like boxing enthusiast. He actually is like one of those old school guys that just fucking hates MMA. Hates hates bare knuckle. He nothing but gloved boxing for him.
Right.
So like he's excited to go see that. So I got to give him a call and see if he wants to go see that George Foreman movie. Number 3, what do you think is the most essential life skill?
That's a great question. I think having the ability to show humility, especially with these young individuals now, we live in such a weird times, and if you're a young athlete, if you're a young individual, if you have the ability to show genuine humility and learn from your mistakes and take some accountability, I think it'll take you a long way.
That's a great answer.
Love that answer.
I mean, like we said earlier, me and Mike are longtime Army guys, right? So I've been in for 22 years, Mike for 15, and the young soldiers that are coming in need to learn a little bit of that. You know what I mean? They need to take accountability for themselves.
Yep.
And it's fucking embarrassing sometimes what kind of work ethic some of these guys have. And you can't beat it into them anymore. Right. It's not that world anymore.
No,
so
it's not.
It's a weird day and age we live in, and sometimes it's a battle because I coach a lot of young athletes, and you want them to kind of have that old school mindset, But this social media world we live in, and in like I said, just some weird times. We got to learn how to adapt and just keep moving forward. But I think humility and taking accountability are genuine life skills that I think you need. So
great answer.
That's where you learn. That's where you learn. It's the best,
It's definitely a great question. I'm a pizza guy.
Number 4, Mike.
What is the best pizza you've ever eaten? I saw that you have been to Connecticut, which is the it has been proclaimed by Dave Portnoy as the
pizza capital
of the world. Lots of people don't know this because they think New York a lot of the time, like New York and Italy pizza. What's the best pizza you've ever eaten?
Okay, so there's actually a place in Chicago called Coal, Coal. There's like 2 or 3 locations. They actually sell like that New Haven style brick oven pizza.
Yeah.
That place is really good. There's a place in California called Mulberry Street that I really like. And then obviously Frank Pepe's. I haven't been able to eat Sally's or Modern or Bar.
Modern or
places. Yeah. But Frank Pepe's definitely was up there for sure. So in Italy it's different because it's all margarita style fancy pizza, and it's good. But I'm a football or New Haven style pizza kind of guy. So definitely Frank Pepe's, Cole in Chicago, and Mulberry Street in California.
Nice.
Outstanding. So, Mike and I just ate at a place in Denver. Mike, what was that place called? I don't.
Oh, I have a picture of it. Hold on.
What was the style pizza that they have? Like
Detroit
style.
It was Detroit style, so it's a little
thick.
deeper, but the crust is where it's at on those.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have never been a fan of that kind of pizza, and we went to this place. It was fantastic. It was the number 1 ranked pizza place in Colorado, I think.
Yeah, it's called Blue Pan.
Blue Pan. Man, if you guys are ever out in Denver, make
absolutely.
Yeah, stop over there and try it out. It's this little place. It's kind of cool. They open the whole front up.
Yeah,
and
it's really nice.
You're kind of sitting on top of each other. Like our table and the table next to us were like 2 inches apart from each other. But it was really cool, man. Awesome answers, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on here, Carlos. I hope you get a shot at a Caleb Harris or a Jake Lindsay or a Gogo Slavetsky, one of those guys. You and Gogo would be
and Gogo, I think Gogo and Lindsay, I think, are 2 guys that don't have anything set up that I know of off the top of my head right now. The other guys all kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what goes on for you in the future. You're only 27 years old. You're not even in your prime yet. You don't even know. Like I tell everybody, in the 22 years in the military, I could tell you from 31 to 35 was the strongest, baddest motherfucker that I could have ever been. So you're getting there, my friend. You're getting close. Danny's molding you into a world champion. We can't wait to see your future. We'll give you a second to say a few final things before we let you get out of here.
Just want to give a shout out to all my friends, my teammates, my family, all my sponsors help me get ready for this fight. Jason Herb with Elite Nutrition, Tim Ronk with Black Belt Movers here in Omaha, Lupe Gonzalez out in Sioux City with Mi Familia, and like I said, everybody from the tribe right here, Winnebago, Nebraska, all my natives out there, give you a shout out. I feel all the support, and I do this for my people, and I'll get that title shot here soon.
Hell yeah, dude! I hope you do. And Danny, do you have any final words you want to say?
Oh, I appreciate you guys having us on. I understand how important it is for Carlos to get the exposure that he's earned and he deserves. So anything to propel him, to put him out there, to let the world know who he is, he won't disappoint you. And we're going to continue to work hard. And I wholeheartedly believe that he'll be a world title in BKFC one day.
I agree. I mean, I think the future is very bright. The guys that you have fought to get to where you are at 4-0, you did catch the one debuter, but dude, Ryan Riley is a fucking animal. He's a goddamn.
He can beat a lot of those people in the top 5, 100%.
Right. Ryan's an animal. Noah Cutter's a tough night out every time, and you just beat the former world champion. So I think the future's bright for you. Thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, and we will talk to you down the road. All right.
Thank you.
Take it easy, guys.
Later, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks. Later. There they are, Carlos Trinidad-Snake and world renowned Danny Molina.
Yeah,
I can't believe, dude. I can't believe how quick he was to say that Anthony Lionheart Smith would not fight bare knuckle because his wife would kill him. Because I feel like
which makes me think there's a chance. Do you know that oddly enough, that answer in my mind was like, well, there's a chance. So you're
telling me there's a chance.
Yep, because if you're saying his wife doesn't want him to do it, it's more like, my wife doesn't want me to do a lot of things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things I do.
Your wife doesn't even want you doing the show right now.
Yeah, it's too loud. You're too loud. You're doing too much. You're too loud.
Dude,
wives just don't like things sometimes that husbands do, and husbands don't like things that wives do, but we still do those things, So bare knuckle, maybe it'll happen for Smith,
I think that he would be a guy that would. I think that he would be a guy that would have a good time. He would have a good time.
Oh,
in BKFC.
Yes, he would.
He would have a good time. He's a dog. He's fucking. You know what? For a guy like Anthony Smith, and not to get way off sidetrack here, but have you ever listened to the MMA Today? It's the midday show on Sirius XM. It's hosted by Dean Thomas.
I don't really know. Nope. No? I don't really listen to it.
Okay. So Anthony Smith, for a guy that has been in fucking, 50 something pro MMA fights and who knows how many amateur and whatever else he's done, this dude is so well spoken and so articulate on that show. Him and Dean Thomas are really good together. And Dean's funny. Dean Thomas is a funny dude. And, you guys all have heard him on UFC events and Dean's Dean. Anthony Smith is the fucking analyst on that show. If that makes sense. He's the color guy. He's the color commentator, the guy that makes the funny comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith is really sharp on that show. I think they're really good. It's a good show. I think it's on from noon to 2 every day on Sirius. So Dean wrestled in my hometown, says Big Ben. Cool, man. Dean's a fucking beast.
So we have come to the point of the show where we will give away a poster that has been signed. The Perry versus Rockhold, Mendez versus Alvarez, BKFC 41. We had a bunch of fights on there. Ferran, Beck. You got freaking Cuddly, Bear, and Rothwell. Kamozi's on the card. I mean, geez, you go down it. There's just so many damn people on this card. Holy shit, what a night. Best night of my life.
You have the best female bare knuckle fighter of all time on that card.
Yes.
You have a top 5 lightweight of all time on that card.
Yep.
You got a former UFC middleweight champion on there. You got Chad Mendes, who only lost to the best of the best in his entire career. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. What a damn poster, dude. And the King of Kenosha's on there.
He is the king of the Kenosha. So the way that we always do it is answer a question and you get the poster. This has been given to us by the BK Extreme fans page, right? The best damn bare knuckle fan page there is in the entire world. And
in the world.
let me tell you something. I do have a question. I don't know if you had already made a question, Kyle. Do you have one made up?
I do not. I think you can do it, Mike.
You think that I can do it?
I think
doing it well. All right. So here's the thing. In the main event of this card, right? I'm not going to ask you for the punch count like we usually do. So everyone can stop looking for the punch count and getting ready to pull the trigger on that. Perry versus Rockhold. Perry won in the main event. Mike Perry, at one point in his career, fought a current BKFC fighter, and he won. I want to know who the fighter was and what date did he beat him? Go.
The fighter and the date?
Yes. Go.
Woo.
Who's the fighter he fought, and what date did he beat that fighter? In
Mike Perry.
comments.
You're talking Mike Perry.
Let's go. Yeah, Mike Perry. Mike Perry won in Denver in the main event. But back in the day, he did have a fight with a BKFC, a current BKFC fighter. Who did he fight, and what date did he win? I need both of them in the same line, not just the one answer. I need both of them in the same line, one right next to each other, and that person wins, because I know some people might know this might be common knowledge. So you're going to have to do a little work, even if you knew the answer right off the rip. And I'm not going to tell you if you got it right, if you only one half of it. Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
Damn, dude. That's a good question, Mike. Wow. When did you come up with this question? While we were talking?
While we were talking, yes.
So,
While we were talking, I came up with this.
Wait a minute. Did he beat the guy twice? Or did he fight the guy twice or one time?
I'm not saying. Mike Perry fought
Mike Perry,
a current BKFC fighter.
Yes.
In the past. And I'll give you another hint. It was not in bare knuckle fighting. So
okay. All right. So Mike Perry fought a guy who is currently in the BKFC in the past.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And
I see.
I am confirming.
Nope, the winner is, guess who? Joe Ivy.
Joe Ivy.
Yep.
May 14th, 2016. Dave Mundell.
Yep, that's the answer. That is the answer.
Yep. I just
Ding.
found it on the Wikipedia.
Yes, you did. That is it. So Joe Ivy wins this. Probably one of the best posters, I think, at this moment in time that you can get. This signed poster with all these people on it. That event was massive. Congratulations, Joe Ivy. Wow. That is a great poster to win right there.
Joe Ivy, I hope you know.
You got to have that poster.
That
is a great poster.
Couldn't be happier that Joe won this.
I
couldn't be happier that Joe Ivy won this poster, because Joe has been riding with us since episode 1. Fucking love her. Yes. And this poster is the greatest BKFC fight card to date in the history.
So great. Oh,
in the history.
It's like the best night of my entire life. And I told people this before. This is the best night. And people are like, oh, what about you? I get it. My family, whatever. Yeah, that's great. You know, everybody always does. You know what I'm talking about? You try and tell somebody that you had a great time, and they're going to be like, what about when your kid was born? I was like, do we really have to compare this to my kid's birth?
That's not
Get
doesn't
that. That's
count.
in another category.
Obviously, your wedding and the birth of your kids and all that shit is
Get the hell outta here.
that's not in the running, dude.
Yeah, I'm speaking about like going out at being 27 and being out late until 5 o'clock in the morning and catching a ferret on the beach
Guys,
at 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit I'm
Mike,
talking about.
She just won this poster. Now you're going to be able to frame this thing and put it up in your house and look at this thing and realize that
I'm ready to send her a frame.
This is the night that the BKFC turned a corner. The Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner moment in BKFC's existence, right? That one night that took this fucking sport and shot it to the goddamn moon. Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendez, Mike Perry calling Connor into the ring, Misfit and Beck. This card
7-second knockout. Did you say that?
7-second knockout by Dylan Weinmiller. I'm talking
Chael Sonnen. I love
Chael. Every fucking thing that could have gone right went right that night. And I'm telling you, man, I had to get one of those posters myself. Mike and I don't really bring memorabilia home from a lot of events. There's been a few. There's been 3 events that I have brought a signed poster home. The first event we ever went to.
Yep. Knucklemania 1.
And then BKFC 18.
Yep. Which was like stacked.
4 title fights.
Yeah.
On that card.
Yep. That was in Hollywood.
Thiago Alves and fucking Yuli Diaz.
Yeah.
Lombard Riggs. Lorenzo jumped in the ring that night and got sucker punched by fucking. I had to bring that poster home and this one and BKFC 41. I told Mike when we were out in Denver, I was like, dude, I haven't brought a poster home since since BKFC 18.
Yeah.
This is the one. I got to bring this one home.
This is one. This is one you got to get. This is a good one. So congratulations, Joel Ivy. And let's thank Extreme BK Fans Page for being the best fan page in the history of fan pages. Russ Maxim and Country.
Big Country.
God, those guys are awesome. Go check out that page. If you're not following the page, then you don't know what's going on because those guys share all the fighter stuff, all the manager stuff. It all gets going in there. They don't make up anything. They just put down what people share. And that's what they do. This is what they do. They share everything the fighters share. So it's like a one-stop shop for your bare knuckle needs, and bare knuckle news.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Goings ons.
Do you know Country's real name?
I do.
Oh, I don't.
I do know his name. He's been in here before. Hey, Russ, do you think he would be mad if I said what his name is? I've seen him commenting in here before, but I don't know if anyone knows it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So maybe I didn't know that whoever's commenting is.
Oh, he did it. He did it there. John Kerry. That's his name. Yes.
John Kerry, CW5, John Kerry.
That's what's so funny is because I always see it and I think we do have a chief at our unit.
Chief Kerry, man.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got the same name. So
yeah.
It's really funny to me.
Hey, it's been a fucking great show.
Yep.
We're gonna get out of here before an hour and a half hits, which is
my sister-in-law should be walking in the door any minute from Pembroke Pines. Yep, Marissa.
Oh, Marissa's coming up. Yep, tell her I said hello. Thank you to Kai Stewart for helping sell that fight again because the build up between him and Louie, man, oh man, does that kid have fucking hate. Kai has so much hate. These guys hate his fucking guts.
Oh yeah,
silver spoon fed little bitch in the eyes of the entire featherweight division.
Yeah, that's the stuff that they're saying about him. Isn't that crazy?
They just hate his fucking guts.
Yeah.
But thank you to him for coming on and talking a little bit about that rivalry. But tune in tomorrow night at 9:00, guys, because we're going to talk to the other half. We're going to talk to Louie Lopez again, and Louie's a little crazy, so that should be fun. And we don't really.
Oh, look at this. Andrew Angelcore just dropped. And he said, sorry, I missed it. Just got to Orlando for my fight this Friday on DAZN.
What?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold up. Wait a minute. What are you doing tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night. Come on the show.
Why don't you come on the show tomorrow night, Andrew? Come talk to us.
Yeah, come on the show tomorrow night because, guys, guess what? Tomorrow night is the 200th 200th Mike and Mish show. Number 200. Man, when we started this podcast, I never thought that 2 years later we would be hitting episode 200 with like who fucking knows 250 plus goddamn guests and so many cool people. We've had such a good time. Been to so many events, not just bare knuckle events. We went to Cage Wars. Thank you to Ben Field.
Yeah, Ben
So
Field was
it's
really
like-
good to us.
Yeah. So and
We've met so many people along the way right now. We are so busy. Before we were like, ha ha, we're just going to be in our basement talking on our shit and whatever. Now we've been to like 18, 19 events. You guys got to see the wall I have with the lanyards with like they're just hanging all over. I used to have one. Now there's so many over there. And I'm like, man, we're so busy now and we're just going to keep on keeping on, man. We got to up the ante. We just got to keep on going. Just keep it going.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the guys that have been rolling with us since day one, we love you guys so much. Thank you to Susan and Joe and Big Ben and
Falcon, absent-minded.
all these guys have been with us for a long time. I bet you didn't think maybe you guys did, but Mike and I probably didn't think so. Like 200 episodes later, we'd still be doing this shit and be traveling all over the country and stuff.
Corey, Kevin, Wesley. I know I'm going to go back in here. So many people. I don't know who's watching. Daniel Torres, everybody. Please don't be mad if we don't say your name. I'm trying to scroll through and think of things. It's very hard to do.
We've met a lot of people, and tomorrow night we'll celebrate a little bit. It's going to be our 200th episode. Mike and I don't have to work on Friday, so maybe we'll get a little stupid.
Oh, here's a question. Question. Will you guys be in Lakeland July 14th?
Oh, are you waiting for me to answer this?
We don't know. We don't know.
Here's
There's
the thing.
a weird
Mike,
thing going on here.
Mike, I just found out that I have to check into my hotel for the class that I'm going to at Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Yes.
On 15 July.
Oh, how perfect.
So what I'm thinking is,
okay. Well, I get what
I say goodbye to my kids a couple days early, and I go to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you cover this event.
Yeah.
You go home to the kids and the wife, and I stay in Florida for 3 more weeks.
Yep. And I put out all the vidgers.
All the vidgers. I found out, dude, guys, guess what? I'm going to a class for the Army at Space Force. At the Space Force base. I didn't know that there was a Space Force base. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was like a base where Space Force is at. And that's where I'm going.
Wow, that is super neat.
You can sleep in my gym, Kevin Smith says.
I don't think
so.
The gym is going to be way on the other side. He's going to go Cocoa Beach.
Yeah. So I'm going to.
Are you saying the night before? Huh?
Yeah. So. Oh, okay. No. We'll stay in a hotel. Thank you, though. So what I'll do is I'll just grab a rental car and I'll fucking shoot down the Cocoa Beach and do my thing, dude. And I think that me and you can work out July 14th event.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll work on that tomorrow.
I do think that this is possible.
Star Wars noises. Yes. Whatever that means. Oh, because of Space Force. Oh shit. Well. Okay, I think.
Hey, can I say that Kai Stewart's Schwarzenegger impression was terrible?
Yeah, I think you told him, and he was like, "Okay, well, whatever." But it was a good line. It's a good kindergarten cop line. But we're gonna get down there. We got to get down there because I'll tell you what, the main event, Mundell versus Richmond. I mean, those two guys. I love both of those guys. We got to get down there. I love both of those guys. I love both of their teams, management, friends. They're all what a great. We've got to be there. It's going to be a good group of people are showing up to that, and I just can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome. So, without further ado, we need
without further ado.
Episode.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. Tune in tomorrow night, 9:00, 200th episode. Louie Lopez, and congratulations to Joe Ivy for winning that awesome poster.
And of course said he would come on. So
Did he?
Yeah, I'll text with him after this.
All right. So tomorrow night, 200th episode, Louie Lopez and
maybe Angel
Drew
Core.
Angel Core. So
We'll
let's
see.
do it, Mike. I got nothing else for these peeps. Peace.